Have you ever heard about the Great Civil War gold heist? Well, we don't know if it actually happened. What we do know is that at least 400 bars of gold disappeared during the war. But could it be that the U.S. government knows more than they're letting on? Confederate and Union forces both moved large amounts of gold from state to state as the war raged on. Much of it was melted down to make room in the supply trains. But some did survive. Reports vary wildly, saying anywhere from 300 to 400 bars were stolen. Most of the gold was recovered, but there's still a decent amount missing. What really happened to the 400 missing bars of gold? Was it lost, stolen, or hidden? And could the government be hiding the truth from us today? Stick around to find out. It was July 1863 when dispatches arrived stating that Confederate troops had raided a Union gold shipment near the town of Resaca, Georgia. While it's true that the Confederates did attack the Union supply train, what isn't true is that they captured any gold. According to the official report, all 260 bars of gold were recovered. However, other accounts claim that only 200 bars were recovered and 60 are still missing. Could this be part of the 400 missing bars? Possibly, but this isn't where the story starts. According to most reports, the troubles began when Colonel Charles Marshall of the Confederate Army confiscated gold from civilians in occupied territory. He then transported the gold to Richmond, Virginia for safekeeping. At the time, gold was selling for around $200 per ounce. Today, that same ounce is worth over $700. So just imagine the profit that these people made. However, it didn't take long for the military to uncover the plot. It was then that Colonel Marshall was arrested and sent to trial. But by this time, he had already sold the gold to unknowing investors. When his crime was uncovered, the military tried to recoup the money by arresting the investors. This is where things get murky. Some sources say the investors were forced to sell their gold back to the government for twice the original price. Other sources say the investors kept the gold and were only fined. We may never know the truth. Rumors of the lost gold have persisted for decades, and while many stories have been written about the missing bars, none have been confirmed. What we do know is that during the Civil War, gold played an important role in financing both sides of the conflict. In 2010, a man named Jack Beale claimed that he knew the location of some of the lost gold. He told the FBI that there were somewhere between 200 and 400 bars buried in a remote area of Virginia. Unfortunately for Beale, the FBI never acted on his tip, probably because it was the third one he'd given them in 3 years. Plus, there were no guarantees that any gold would actually be found. But the truth is that there's a lot more to this story. And according to newly released documents, the FBI was hot on the trail of the gold. In fact, they had been searching for it since 1976. So how did the gold hoax happen? They bought gold on margin. This means that they borrowed money from investors and used it to purchase even more gold. Then when the price of gold went up, they sold some of it and pocketed the profits. The rest of the gold was left to sit, appreciating in value until they were ready to sell. But as we said before, it didn't take long for the military to uncover the fraud. Investors were arrested and forced to sell their gold back to the government. But that's not the end of the story. There are rumors that the government has been covering up the existence of the gold for decades. These claims are based on the fact that very little documentation exists about the heist. There are a few newspaper clippings and military reports, but nothing concrete. This has led many to believe that the government is hiding the truth. And in recent years, the FBI has taken several secret trips to unearth the gold. One of these expeditions took place in 2010 in an area known as Poverty Point. According to some reports, the FBI spent weeks digging at the site but came up empty-handed. Others claim that they found something, but it was quickly whisked away under a blanket and taken away from the site. Whatever the truth may be, we may never know. But one thing is for sure, the legend of the lost Civil War gold will live on. Now it's your turn. What do you think really happened to the gold? Let us know your theories in the comments below, and remember to stay tuned for more exciting historical tales.